Good morning. Today we have another game in its prototype stage. It's still worth a little bit of poking around and test play, so I do recommend you come and have a look at it, but it is very far from complete. So at the very least I suggest adding it to your watch list in Itch.io and play the later stages as that comes out. But I will show you a little bit of the gameplay, and as per standard practice, and then we can go on and talk about some game design principles and things like that, seen from the player's perspective for the developer and any other devs who might be watching. So step one of the plan is to hop in and run the game, and we can also maximize the game out. There are no sound controls, so I have muted the game, but we do have a funky sort of electronic beat in the background, and there are a few sound effects in the game, but just very few. So we're not really missing much at this stage in the game's development. I do seem to be recording. So let us click start, and we get this unfortunately unskippable scrolling of text. So yeah, Dev, please make it so you can click a button and fill the text in instantly for people who don't want to wait. And there are our controls and a little bit of lore in the storyline. We're the last sort of AI that's still sane in a collapsing facility. We need to get to the doohickey and save the day for whatever our meta controlling mind is. So press enter to confirm. This is us. We're this little wibbling figure. I don't know why it's wibbling. It might be a problem on my side. It might be just the design choices and things like that. We walk with WASD. We shoot with left click. But unfortunately, we also have the thing where we shoot in the direction that we're facing rather than where the mouse is pointing. I'll talk about that in the critique thing afterwards. Now, our job at this point is to try and open this door, and we do that by hacking these terminals on the wall. So if I press E to hack, and some enemies start running at me, and they are unkillable, so they explode and damage me. I've hacked the wrong terminal. I meant to hack that 1 second, because when we hack our second terminal, these turrets pop out of the ground, and we need to try and inch closer and shoot them, because if we let them shoot at us, they kind of beat us up quite badly, because it takes us a little while to kill them. Can I get to an angle where I can face this one? Yes. So fortunately I can hit them without exposing myself to them, because they do hurt. And to the sound of a bird in the distance, we have successfully blasted them. Now there is a third terminal to hack. A quite serious enemy pops out and beats us up, and I'm not going to fight that just at this point, because it's not necessary, and I'll leave it up to you guys to have a look at. So we are stopping there, and we are going to critique the game a little bit. So if you're just here to see the gameplay, thank you for watching. The link will be in the description to come and have a look. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments, because those 3 things are good for all of us. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. However, if you are interested in the game design critiquing and things like that, let us start at the beginning. Obviously, the first complaint is that there are no sound controls. Devs, please put the ability in the game to turn off the music, to turn down or up or off the sounds separately from the music. That makes everyone's life a lot easier. Some people don't like consistent music going there, and I know the music is to set the kind of the theme and adds quite a bit to setting it and all of that. But yeah, some people don't like it, so let people turn it off. Uh, Talking about the sounds, the gun is a little bit unsatisfying. It's sort of a pew 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 noise rather than a solid chunky firing. There's no real sort of explosions for the enemies or anything like that. Um, so yeah, I think some effort as for later polishing of the game. I think some effort would be beneficial, um, to kind of make the sounds a bit more visceral. In terms of the art is great. I like the way the things look. I do like the look of the player character, although I'm not quite sure it matches the storyline. I like the sort of blocky sci-fi game look of the map and things like that. I know the dev has spent a lot of time and effort on animations and things like that. However, I think the for my personal opinion, for what I would like to see in the game, I think the player character design is not optimal for the storyline. I would much rather prefer to see and play as a sort of a like a Wall-E style little turreted bot with tracks for instead of feet and that kind of thing, and with a turret on top that kind of revolves and allows you to shoot in any direction. And tying that back into the gameplay, I would like to be able to shoot where the mouse cursor is, um, rather than where the way I'm facing. Um, I think that would be really a much more satisfying gameplay experience. Possibly a little bit easier, so that would mess with your sort of any work you do in your balance and things like that. But people expect that kind of stuff when you have left click as your fire button. People expect the mouse to be where the left clicks go. Ooh, I picked up something. What was that? Oh, it turned this thing off. I get to heal. Okay. So that's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. So we're going back to the UI. Please tell the player that the things on the walls are stuff that you can actually interact with, because I didn't know that was the thing. I had no reason to know that was the thing. There was no. I don't think I even got to press E to. Anyway, so that is the critiques there. So yeah, I think a different player character design in this model could be an enemy or possibly a friend or assistant or something. It's kind of dark on one side of the room. Yeah. In terms of feeling, well, the character is a little bit sluggish. I don't know if that's on purpose or something weird with the way it's working for me. But I find that sort of the movement delays to be a bit awkward, especially when you have to move the character in a hurry to face him in a particular direction, to shoot in that direction. So it would probably be less of a concern if I could shoot in any direction with the mouse rather than, to the cardinal points that I'm facing for something that's a little bit slow and awkward to aim. Yeah. So that's a bit of the game feeling, and I mean, yeah, we've spoken on the immersion in terms of how the character fits in and things like that. I think it's quite important to have a character that is more compelling rather than one that kind of looks cool, if that makes sense. I don't want a cool character. I don't want a cool badass. I want a storyline appropriate character that is interesting to play with. Can I fall into this? No, I can't. And I can't use that at all because it's broken. Yeah, that's the thoughts that I have there. We've spoken about the feeling. We've spoken about the immersion elements. I like the fact that there is storyline. I like the fact that there is some kind of explanation of how to do stuff in the beginning of the game. Let's try to restart the game again. Press escape, reload. Don't forget to add a reload the map button in your menu. Just talking about the lore from the writing perspective, I would change a few things. I wouldn't say this is the last AI unit. The AI is controlling the unit. I mean, I am the AI. I'd say the last accessible remote unit, something like that. Not really an autonomous entity. It's weird describing me as an autonomous entity, but I'm still controlling it remotely from the top down. So it would be more interesting if I were that you would separate between me, the player, and the control unit, and make it sort of the last sort of robot unit or something like that, because it is more of a robot than an AI unit. I don't know if that makes sense. The phrasing there seems a little bit wrong to me. And then you've got awaiting user confirmation. I would say awaiting unit connection, and then press enter to connect. I mean, it's I know it's a very, very small, very, very minor thing, but it jumped out at me. It's sort of bugging me. And like I said, make this press any key to scroll the text quickly to this point, rather than having to wait for it to all scroll out slowly bit by bit. Yeah, look, that is as much critique as I have, obviously, for a game at this level. Also put something to show that this is accessible. Is it only accessible after the first fight? Only after the second fight? Is that the secret here? I don't know. It would be again nice to have some kind of text or visual display to show that these are the things that control the door. And I can see there's some pipes in here, but maybe light them up or something. Don't forget to use light to draw the user's eyes across to the things. I mean, that's an old dev technique, is use light cues, because people look at lights or look in the sort of direction of where lights are, and then use sort of environmental cues to tell the user where to go, rather than sort of telling them to do the thing. But yeah, I get that this is kind of a prototype room and using it just to test mechanics and things like that. But it is worth contemplating. Yeah, but yeah, and also a thought popped into my head in terms of room design. Make it obvious what the room is for, because I'm looking at this room and I don't know what it's doing. You know, why is this thing being left tipped over here? Why are there turrets at odd places in this room that is, I'm assuming from the looks of it, just a storage room? Why is there a couple of cluttered crates in the middle? Why is there barrels fenced off over here? I mean, what's in those barrels that a laser war is doing? Why is there a power up and a grate in the wall, in the floor, and a healing kit over there in the corner of that? Again, I know that this is a prototype game and this is a room for testing stuff, but when you get to actually designing the map properly, don't forget to give every room a purpose and make it obvious what that purpose is, because there are way too many games where it's just random trashy rooms that are, you're in there and you're going, oh, this is a game room, it's not an actual real facility room. So design your maps around how people would, or even robots would, actually use it. I think that's important. I think too many games, even quite good games, still don't give enough consideration to what the space that you're in is being used for. I don't know why, but I always think of Portal for that, and Portal kind of excuses it by being, this is a testing facility run by a somewhat mentally insane AI, so it does get away with some of it. But even then, areas of Portal where you were out of the testing space but still crashing around in the facility in Portal 2, there was too much insanity in the design and not enough sort of practical purpose. And you look at a room and you go, what is the functionality here? Why does this room exist? And if you can't sort of see that, at least at some level, it pulls you out of the game and you like it less. So yeah, map design, room design, very important considerations. Don't design your map for the gameplay. Design your map to be a real living space, and then work your gameplay around it accordingly. You can mutate it to meet some gameplay requirements, but don't design it around gameplay requirements, because that's it makes it a much less compelling play space. And that is my biggest critique for the day. Thank you for watching. I am going to be watching myself to see where this game goes, and I hope the comments helped and made sense and wasn't just me rambling irrationally. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye.